got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems. I solve them. I run through the money. The pressure be calling. Left on my blessings. I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something. That's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression is all that I wanted. The phone and affection. I summon and dub it. Cause I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems. I solve them. I run through them.
Welcome back to another episode of the Problems on Problems podcast. I almost messed up that intro. I am your host, Mike Santi, and today we're going to talk about some thankfulness, some thankful-ish today. I have the worst upstairs neighbors, but we move. I will start this episode off with a warning that this story involves injuries, particularly to your face. So if you're opposed to those, stop watching now or fast forward to whatever timestamp I put in here for the great debate, food debate, still working title, and the Friday follows, and you can carry on with your awesome week. But first of all, number one, that's why you say first of all, Mike. I hope you guys had a happy Thanksgiving. When I'm filming this, I'm definitely not at Thanksgiving right now, but I can only imagine what the recap's going to be like, especially with Lord knows what kind of family I'm dealing with this year. JK, love you all. We'll see. But yeah, so it's really around the holiday time where I'm reminded of basically a story of Mike's dumb decisions. Now, granted, I make a lot of dumb decisions. It's the reason why I have a podcast about problems. Mike just makes a bunch of dumb decisions. But this one in particular comes with a story. There's some lessons learned, really, in the sense of like, hey, just know what you're getting into before you offer help. And if you don't know, ask. But yeah, so it's just one of those things where around, it was probably around this time of year, a lot of years ago, when Mike was young, sprightly, and dumb. I don't even know how to say this. I'm thankful I still have my eyesight at the end of this entire story. I guess some disclosures at first. Yes, I am stereotypically Hispanic in the sense that I'm pretty decent with cars, and by pretty decent I mean I'm average with cars. Like I know the basic like maintenance stuff. Like I can replace parts, I can do maintenance on a car, and then I dabbled in stereo swapping legally. I know y'all about to come down my throat with that one. Pause. But yes, I did some stereo swapping, especially with like late 90s model car, you know, when everybody was swapping out stereos and nobody gave a crap. Like it's so easy to like put aftermarket parts into there. But word of that got around with a couple friends. I had a buddy who just bought his wife a new car. He wanted to add in a touchscreen display, stereo, all that jazz, basically a new stereo and a backup camera to this new car, a new car to them. And that didn't faze me at all. I was like, oh, that's easy. Like if there was a part that existed there, I can take that out and put in a new part. And so of course in my head I was like, this is maybe like a 1 to 2 hour job, if that. There's going to be two of us there. I've got like free reign. We're good to go. So day of, I get there, and just because I wasn't that familiar with the make and model of car, I did some YouTube University. I was out here just kind of searching, seeing how people had done it before, seeing if there were any easy ways to get the piece out, where the screws were, all that stuff. The stuff that you would want to know before starting this endeavor, which is really what it turned into. So I get there, we're doing our thing, we're moving along. Everything looks fine, at least from the side of the car. Now, this friend, not adverse to spending money on things, and I had warned him that, hey, you're going to have to buy a couple of things. So he, very wisely, he waited for me to get there that morning, so then we could go to the store, like the auto parts shop, and get everything we needed, because Mike only had so many tools. And you know what Mike didn't have for his janky 99 Ultima that he was like doing all this aftermarket stuff for? He didn't have like a trim remover. And for those of you that know cars, so a trim remover is basically a hard plastic tool or set of tools that like pop off the pieces of trim in your car. So whether that be pieces of your dashboard, AC vents, things like that. And it's the reason why they'd make it in plastic is so that you're not scratching up the entire interior part that is basically like vinyl and plastic of your car with a metal flathead screwdriver, like I had done so many times. So I thought, hey, let's do this right. Let's buy, and plus it's not my money. Let's buy the trim removal set. Let's make sure we have the wiring harness for this stereo and all that stuff. Things that you could just look up yourself online. But basically we were just making sure we had all the right parts. So we have more or less all the parts that we need. And I say more or less because you'll find this out later. We have more or less everything we need. So we're doing well. We're out here. We got the car, nice little driveway, real easy. So we're taking out screws. We're unscrewing things. Obviously, that's how you take out screws. You unscrew things. But we're popping off trim here and there, unscrewing screws here and there, taking off bolts. And I'm basically at the point in time where I'm feeling confident enough where I'm like, okay, cool. Last part that I need to do is I need to take out this AC part, because just so you know, it was a Nissan Rogue. So above the stereo, there is just those 3 AC vents. Those have screws, got those done. Those are just supposed to pop out. Mike goes to pop these out. And what YouTube University had failed to mention prior to me just going, I don't know, balls deep into this project, is that a freaking scythe was attached to one of the AC vents. And what you're not supposed to do is pull it out, I don't know, vigorously. Because when I did, said scythe went up into my eye, and it was such a sudden motion that I just thought I had, honestly, I thought I just scratched my eye. Like, I didn't think anything was that serious. I took a little break, like rubbed it a little bit. But once my vision started coming back, I thought, oh, we're fine. It's just a scratch. Like, you'll get over it, Mike, whatever. You scratched your eyeball before. It's going to be okay. It was not okay. We proceeded to, I don't know, do everything you're not supposed to do with eye injuries. But then again, I didn't think it was an eye injury. We put eye drops in there to, calm down the irritation, because that's so smart. I was out here just like rubbing my eyelids, all that stuff. We even went out in public a second time to get a different piece that we needed that we didn't foresee needing this piece of equipment. And so we even went out again. Mind you, I'm going through the store, like hand over my eye, like basically just like rubbing it like this. And it is leaking. And when I say leaking, I mean like tears. Like, I look like I'm crying through the entire store. It's just a bad look. But I'm like, hey, we're going to be okay. We're going to power through. It's going to be fine. So fast forward now, we're maybe 4.5, 5 hours deep into this 2-hour project. And I'm finally at the point where I've done all the wiring that I could do. I've assembled the car back. Mind you, I didn't get to the part where we actually swapped the stereo. I basically just left a hole in this man's dashboard where this new stereo should go. I just couldn't possibly physically put the stereo in and continue the job. So I let him know, hey, these are the last parts you have to do. But I genuinely think that I need to take myself to urgent care. And for those of you that don't have it, I don't know why you wouldn't have it. Urgent care is basically like an off-site emergency room, kind of. It's almost like a pre-triage to stop you from going to the emergency room. And I went to urgent care, and they're good. They're professionals. They're medical professionals. We're going to be good to go. So I sit there. I tell them, hey, I think I did something to my eye. Now, mind you, if you can't see anymore, here's a pro tip. Don't casually say that to whoever the receptionist is or whoever's checking you in. Let them know, it hurts like a mother, I can't see, things like that. Helpful things to let them assess what your pain is. Don't casually go in there and say, hey, I think I scratched my eye, because you're going to be waiting for a long time. And I waited for a while, and basically I just sat there. The only thing that made my eye feel better, and it's the right eye for those of you that are, I guess, confused. I basically would just sit there with my hand on my eye and immobilize it. And that was the only thing that made it feel better. My eye not moving was the only relief I was getting. And so they finally call me in. I get into the room, and for those of you that don't know, when they're testing imperfections on your eyeball, there's a dye test where they drop a fluorescent dye into your eye. It's safe, so I've been told. Nothing happened to me. Then they shine a UV light over that area, and any imperfections will show up fluorescent, like they'll just glow. And so me, being a nerd, I was like, oh, I'm all for it. Like, let's go fully. And by then, my significant other, girlfriend at the time, I don't know why I'm saying significant other, my girlfriend at the time was there in the, finally in the triage room, if you want to call it that, or the examining room. And so lights go dark. Well, first, I guess, dye goes in the eye. Lights go dark. I see the black light turn on with my good eye, my left eye. And as it's coming up, my right vision just goes like completely neon green, neon yellow. It went neon. And all I hear is this, I don't remember if they were a physician or a physician's assistant, and my girlfriend, I hear them both audibly gasp like a, and the person treating me literally says, well, that's not good. Which, I mean, I appreciate the hilarity in this, but don't say that when it's my eyeball. And so we get past this whole test, and it turns out, the way that they explained it, is that more or less whatever happened during the incident resulted in me shaving off the size of a pea of my cornea from my eyeball. So I basically just cut my cornea off my eyeball, or a good chunk of it. And spoiler alert, you're not supposed to do that. It's not advised for anybody, not really a good thing anytime ever. But yeah, Mike managed to do that. Mike managed to cut his cornea off. And here's the part that, me being young and naive, I should have asked more questions, but I was just like, I don't know what to do. Basically, the treatment for that. Well, now there are different treatments. I don't know if putting on a protective lens, like a protective contact, a thicker one, would have helped me in that situation. I think it would have. They may not have thought of that. But basically, I had to like be blind and immobilize my eyes for 48 hours. 48 to 72 hours, which, mind you, those were, it's, yeah, I don't envy it. I don't ever want to like lose my sight again, but it was definitely one of those experiences where like you only listening to like TV, to podcast, audio files and things like that. It's not fun. You like quickly lose your mind. But yeah, that's what I was doing. I was basically imagining everything that I was listening to as if, I don't know, it was some old-timey radio show, and I just got to hear the description of all of these things going on. And it was awful. People would bring me food. That was nice. I'd have to like leave my door open so that people could actually get in, because Lord knows I wasn't moving. But yeah, it was, I don't wish it on anybody. But on top of that, you would think I was done experiencing all this stuff, but outside of like this scar here, I think it's there. We'll zoom in, maybe not. But it's supposed to heal like normal, like skin almost. But what they failed to mention is that there will be scar tissue depending on how big the injury is, and there was scar tissue for like, I think it's still there. I don't know. Sometimes I get allergies, my eyes get dry, and if I like rub my eyelid the wrong way, it feels like I just like reopened my eyeball, and it's like the worst feeling ever. But that being said, number one, are there lessons in this? There are probably a bunch of lessons that I haven't learned in this. I think one of them is that you should wear eye protection when dealing with stuff. Like that's stuff that they teach in like tech or shop class, whatever it is for you guys, chemistry even. Wear eye protection. It's for the best. There's stuff everywhere that goes in there. So for y'all that are also out here wearing masks and stuff, wear eye protection if you're going to work on cars. Sure, that's Mike's words of wisdom for for today. But yeah, other than that, gosh, I guess we'll get this thing wrapped up. We'll take a break. We'll do the POP thing, the 3-second commercial. You know what it is. And then we'll get you guys out of here for a long Thanksgiving weekend. POP, and we're back. We are never back. I'm always back. You're back too. You know what? We talked about this last time. We're back. So, last week on the great debate, or the Friday food debate, I don't know, but I need to waste enough time for the animation to roll through. But last week we talked about brownies, edges versus centers. We put the poll out and 61% of you guys said centers. I don't know how I feel about this one. I'm more of an edge guy. There's no play on words there. Don't read into it. I don't like my brownie feeling as though it's constantly melting. So there's that. You center people. Good for you, I guess. But there's a reason why there's a specific baking tray that makes it so that your brownies all have edges, and there's not one that makes it so that all your brownies are centers. Okay? Outside of it not being possible. There's a reason why they don't make that. But yeah, this week with Thanksgiving having been in full swing by now, you probably have hella leftovers in your fridge. I'll ask you, better Thanksgiving Day side dish? Is it that Dairy Diablo mac and cheese? Or is it that potato something? I've ran out of something to alliterate potatoes with. That potato punch, I hate it. Mashed potatoes. So mac and cheese versus mashed potatoes. I will allow you to add gravy into this mix. Wherever you add gravy too. Hopefully it's the mashed potatoes. But yeah, you're allowed to pick both. So better Thanksgiving side dish, mac and cheese versus mashed potatoes. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the polls, DMs, all that good stuff. And we kind of segue on over to our Friday follows. This one being very thankful for everyone involved in these Friday follows. The previous weeks, this week, all that jazz. Friday follows for this week are going to go to Made to Last Tattoo in Charlotte. They are, gosh, if you ever see this, I don't know how to put this in frame. This wolf tattoo, the geometric wolf. We'll talk about that story later. That was done at Made to Last Tattoo. They are sick with the work. Love the entire atmosphere, the crew, everyone there, from the store managers all the way down to the artist. Everyone there, and the vibe is just, cannot say enough good things about it. And their work is fucking dope. So yeah, go check them out. I'll leave all their information, like I always do, down in the description. And the next person that we're going to give this to is Sam Vargas. And gosh, where do I start? Mans is out here. Not only is he out here, he's out here. Mans is in Charlotte, then he's in New York, then he's in LA, then he's out west. That's also out west, Mike. You know what I meant. I meant mountains. He's been killing it for a while in photography. If you see commercials for grocery stores here, advertisements or promos for bars and restaurants and all that stuff, he has a lot to do with it. Man is killing the game, doing bits with a camera. Just hosted his first workshop a few months ago. Can't wait for the next one. But yeah, all in all, guys killing the game. So be thankful for them. Be thankful for those type of people in Charlotte. We'll keep shouting them out. But with that, guys, I got nothing else left for you. Go be fat, go be happy, go be sleepy, go do your thing. For those of you working on Thanksgiving or during this weekend, I love you. Thank you for doing all that stuff. Those who are enjoying yourselves, I also love you too. It's nothing personal. Don't forget to follow the Problems on Problems podcast on Instagram, at problems_pod on Twitter, and follow your boy, Mike Santi 18 on all social media. And like I always say, guys, if it's not a good time, hope it's a good story, and I will see you next week. Add it up, bankroll,